heard, especially in like the Andrea call and the ooh, I'm more turned off by the laugh than I am. It's like I can't even hear anything else he's saying because it's just piercing my brain, and I'm like, yesterday's story was written by a toddler. Maybe the toddler's viewing right now. Toddler, if you were watching, we're going to need some more of you. At least show up and make it look like logical, okay? Because we are analyzing everything you say, everything you do. And we have screenshots and videos. You might have deleted everything, but we didn't. Message to the fans of Waitress Stephen Wilson. Yep, no worry. The content is still out there. We'll make sure Jesse isn't ever forgotten. Jesse, you know, you have given every girl that I know that has the name Jesse a lot. They're really upset. They want to change their names now. You've made them want to change their name. You know that song Jesse's Girl? They're going to delete the whole song because nobody wants Jesse's Girl anymore. Nobody even wants to be associated with Jesse. Girl, you've done this. Congratulations. Congrats. Because now we all see Jesse and we're like, uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Sorry if your name is Jesse. You might want to change your username to something else, you know? Hopefully, Helene pushed that RV and blew it into another state. My husband's name is Jesse. Well, at least it's a boy. That's, you know, it's a different Jesse. Different kind. They should have a new TV show called Prison Bachelor, and the ladies get handcuffs instead of roses. Yeah, Jesse, not PTA Jesse. Poor Jesse. No one's saying poor Jesse. She did this to herself. She willingly walked in and started manipulating and messing with people's lives. So by all means, I don't want her to, like, I'm not advocating for her getting hurt or her hurting herself. But I do think that she is going to take the heat. She's going to feel the heat for what she's done. She's meddling in people's personal lives. She's meddling with family connections. She's over here doing illegal things and trying to put herself on, like, girl, you freaking worked at Aspen Dental. What you do now, I don't know, but it's honestly, you have no educational background to even providing the things that you have done. Your cease and desist letters with your signature on it, you thought that was a brilliant idea? Like, these are things that, like, you can never come back from because now you're physically doing it. It'd be one thing like these other biddies just preaching their bullshit. You can get by that and get whatever. They're irrelevant. When you start actually messing with people's lives, it's a whole nother type of situation for you. Those things, you don't ever move on from and people don't forget. No one's happy with that situation. Aspen Dental degree, yep, we all know. Did it to yourself. Did it to yourself. Coral, please let me know what she did. I mean, are you serious, Rika? Are you new here? She's done a lot of things. Oh, you were away. So she's done a lot of things. She sent out cease and desist letters to people like that were personally victims or personally related or involved with Wade. She wrote these cease and desist letters saying that they weren't able to talk about Wade at all on any sort of subject when these people personally were affected by them or personally know him. They know him more than she does. And she wrote cease and desist letters and sent them to their addresses. She's also come up on the platform and try to push this. We've heard her talk about on recorded lines how she's trying to sell merch and they were going to use the funds to, give the money back to Wade. They're going to take some of the Fundly money and give it back to him in the kiosk. There is a lot of things that she said. Threats. Yep, it says it's a threat to not speak, basically, or she'll sue you. So she's trying to silence the people that have facts or know things and like saying defamation of character. He is a convicted unaliver. Convicted. Even prior it was in trouble for things of hurting women and doing wrong things. And then everybody out here trying to say you can't talk badly, it'll ruin his reputation. What reputation? He is an unaliver. He should be known as that. We should all be saying that because that's what he is. That's what 12 jury of his peers convicted him as in 4 hours. It only took 4 hours. And they came back with that, like they deliberated real quick. Came back and said, boom, guilty. Then he got sentenced to the DPs, 2 of them. Plus 22 years for the other things he did while incarcerated for these unalivings. So she's trying to defend with him, saying that it's, giving him a bad reputation or putting his name, sullying his name in the streets. No, he did that, woman. He freaking did that. So where you got the audacity to reach out to people personally, wow. That's one boundary that you shouldn't have ever crossed. And then you shit on Papa Steve. We heard that. We heard you shit on Papa Steve. Speak of Papa Steve, look who's in the house. Here we go. Buckle up. What's up, Steve?
Hey, how you doing?
I always love when you randomly creep on.
Melanie said it was okay for me to say this, so I'm going to say it. Because I didn't know if, I'd get in trouble, but I wanted to say, fuck Jesse. Jesse's stupid.
Jesse.
Fuck Jesse. Jesse's stupid. Jesse thinks she's smarter than she is, but she's got another thing coming. So
You said you got to clear it with the wife. Is it okay if I say this, hon?
yeah, I had to ask just to be sure because last time they put me in timeout.
The whole chat is chiming in. F Jesse.
That should be the new saying. Fuck Jesse. But
it's like that song they made. Fuck them kids, and you're like, fuck Jesse.
Fuck Jesse. Yeah, she's probably in here stalking, so fuck her.
Oh, she's definitely. People are putting it out there for sure. I see a bunch of people like already. It's gonna get if she ain't watching, she gonna see it.
Yeah, and then she's gonna cry about it because she can't take the heat, but she can sure try to dish it out. That's for sure.
That's the problem, and that's what happens. These people come forward and say, "Well, I'm getting threats and I'm scared and I feel like I'm gonna hurt myself." Well, girl, you put yourself there. You put yourself there. Like you willingly walked into this. Went into your brain. Did you think this was going to be a good idea? Because the fact that she went on that, and remember when she came back not too long ago and did that whole like question and answer thing, and the first thing she did is have to speak on your name. Why do you even bring him up? You don't even know the man. You've never talked to him personally once in your entire life. Doesn't even make sense.
It's all good. I know.
Karma's a bitch, that's for sure.
Karma sucks. 100% karma sucks. I've dealt with karma. We're not going
to put money in your kiosk, girl.
Yeah, fuck Jesse.
Fuck her.
I wanted to say something real quick just about, I just wanted to clear something up. I have not spoke to Wade's biological mother. I just... I probably would have said anything in that moment because, I was just trying to get Wade to do the right thing as far as Diane goes. And I know people have said, well, I thought he said he didn't talk to her. And I haven't talked to her. I just said that because I knew that would kind of bring him a little comfort and calm him down a little bit. So if I'm wrong for that, I'm wrong for that. But that's what I did. So.
A lot of people were asking me if you want to answer, you don't have to, but what did you feel about that Courtney interview?
I don't know. It just felt weird. I didn't understand. I didn't understand what the end result was of that. I just really didn't get it. But it came off fine, I guess, to me. I didn't understand what the point was. So
yeah, I thought that too. Chris said that was a perfect response.
Yeah, I just, I don't have anything negative to say about it. I just didn't get it. There was a lot of stuff I felt like could have been talked about maybe or cleared up or whatever. But
I think I wanted to address only one key part just because you're here with me, and I don't address that stuff unless I have somebody involved there. But she did mention that she had spoke to you on that Emma situation when you guys were talking. That and we wanted to clear the air there that she never physically had a conversation. Only Emma and other people in her room had a conversation with you. She never physically talked to you.
yeah, somebody mentioned that to me, and I don't remember having that conversation with her, but um, you know, so I personally don't remember it, but I don't know. I think people have kind of went back and looked at some of that, and I didn't hear it, but I don't know. Maybe it was just in passing or something. During I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, I noticed that she is just trying to make amends now, and she's like, "Hey, I don't want any more drama. I don't want any more." So now it looks like she really all the way backed off. So I've kept it very civil for that reason alone, is because she's just kind of. I already said that she was an irrelevant character from day one. So the fact that she's just kind of like made amends with that and is not speaking negatively about anybody is left. Like, that's why I've just kind of left her alone, because whatever, do your thing over there. And as long as you're not speaking about, as long as she's not speaking about Mila or speaking about you, I'm cool. Like,
Well,
don't come for my people. I won't come for you.
well, I'll say this. I know I've read a lot of comments and stuff where people are like, yeah, kind of whatever. They feel some kind of way about it. But for me personally, I can just say for me personally, I get some of her frustration, where someone comes in her house and, portrays to be somebody different. And then you find out a lot of truths. The only suggestion I would have in the future is, I know your intentions were, you're fighting for what you believe in, and I respect that. But in the future, I think maybe hold off on some of the hate type messages and the negative type shit. And I'm not saying specifically Courtney, I'm just saying in general. Maybe look into things a little bit. Maybe, listen to what people say. And I know you can't believe everything people say, but before you go all out and really do some hurtful things, give it a little time, look into it, do your research, whatever it takes, so that way, if something changes, you don't have to backpedal and you don't have to, feel that hurt feeling inside because you look back on everything you've said and done. Sometimes it's better to just take a step back, look at the big picture and go from there. But I personally don't have any animosity or anger or frustration. I'm just thankful at some point, people can see things, animosity or anger or frustration. I'm just thankful at some point, people can see things for what they are. And if that changes their thinking, then you can use all this as a lesson for the future, and maybe don't get yourself in that kind of situation again,
Well, yeah, and then also don't be bringing. This is what I tell people. I don't care if they're a friend. I don't care who they are. If you have young children, I mean, even mine. I got teenage daughters. People don't just be coming to my house. If I just met you or I'm only talking to you on the phone, I'm not just gonna be like, here, let me introduce you to my children. That's the one thing that my job is to protect. So don't be bringing random people just because you talk to them on the phone over into your area around your children, unless you know damn well that those people are good people and you know them or you've met them personally yourself. Like, that's just, you got to protect them. You don't know, especially in this circus. That would be the last thing that I would have trusted to come into my household,
Yeah, and I think for Courtney specifically, just based on what I've heard, it sounds like that time period that her and Wade were together or hanging out or whatever, that was one of those moments where, he wasn't full out, on a mission. And so luckily for her, she didn't have to experience those type of things that a lot of other people have. And I'm thankful for that. Nobody deserves that. So I think her opinion versus maybe some other women that have been in contact with Wade when he's been at his worst, luckily for her, that didn't happen. So that, when he's been at his worst, luckily for her, that didn't happen. So that, that's positive. That's how I feel about it. That's positive. That's how I feel about it.
There long enough to experience any of that situation, and especially if he's using narcotics, that could be any moment. She should count herself lucky.
Yeah. Well, the good thing too is that seeing that visit that was played the other day, that does show a different side of Wade. That's him sober. That's him trying to use his thoughts better. It's that person that you're able to communicate with and get through to and kind of encourage to make better choices. The problem is, that's usually how he is in that moment. But as a drug addict, I think all that goes out the window when he starts using again. And he just forgets about those type of conversations. So,
Steve, I will say, because we had a private conversation, but I will say, like, it did the whole time, because I never saw any emotion whatsoever from your son. And to see like that emotion from him, at least I could say, I wasn't saying towards the victims, but towards the fact that he knew he hurt you, and he knew that his mom was hurt, and like you could see in hear in his voice that emotion, which I never saw. So I feel like myself, I had to like accept the fact that the guy did have some sort of emotion. Like there was somewhere deep down in him, he does have feelings. I don't know where they're buried, but like they're there. And I feel like if he would have had you in his life this whole way, and he would have kept you by his side, the situation right now could have been a lot different, at least with the ownership portion, because you do have a way to get through to him. We saw it. We saw that he was genuinely, he wasn't mad at you. He knew that you had said what you said, and he knew that you got him picked up, and he still was like Dad, I'm like, like he did not want you to be hurt. That was like huge. I was like, wow, okay, so there is some sort of feelings in this guy somewhere.
Yeah, they're there. I mean, I think as time goes by, they get buried deeper and deeper, but there's glimpses of it for sure. And I don't know. I've thought about that, and I talked to Melanie about it the other day. And because watching that, it did upset me. I in my mind remembered parts of that conversation, but there was a lot of things that I really just didn't remember because I didn't go into that planning anything. My main objective was, knowing that he'd been in there a few days and his mind was getting clearer. So I felt like maybe I had a pretty good shot of getting him to do the right thing. But, hearing some of that stuff, and it bothered me. But I said to Melanie the other day, I just wish maybe when those type of behaviors started when he was a little younger, maybe someone could have reached out to me or something, just knowing my past, and maybe as a team, we could have, I remember Candy telling me one time where he'd been gone for several days, and then he came back to their house, and of course, at that point they let him come in and shower and have some dinner and all that, and everybody went to bed, and she woke up in the middle of the night, and he was in the dining room in a corner just freaking out. And she thought at that point that it was maybe like a mental episode, but what it really was just he was tweaked out on meth, and they never experienced that with their children. They don't have a background with.
Well, that's why they immediately were like, they immediately went to mental health versus, hey, he's under true, he could have mental health, but that's making it 30,000 times worse.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, and I get it too, though, I mean, it's hard, it was a closed adoption. So I've read people say, well, you didn't reach out for 18 years and blah, blah, blah. Well, because I followed what the agreement was. I was
What the
told,
law states.
yeah, what the agreement was, and I wasn't going to violate that. I respected that. So I don't know. Maybe that thought never crossed their mind. Like, you know what? Let me reach out to his biological dad and see if maybe there's something we can do together to combat all this. There's no excuse. It is what it is. But maybe it wouldn't have changed anything, or maybe it would have. Maybe I could have been able to kind of see it for what it is and help, help as a group. We could have maybe tried something different, but you can't dwell on all that.
Well, if you could get a word out to Candy, what would you say?
I really don't even know. I mean, I've kind of said what I've had to say about it, and I know, fuck Jessie. I know Jessie, I'm sure, has done her little computer tough guy editing and all that, and probably played for them what she felt like would turn them against me, and that's okay, because I know that at some point will be brought to the light. I don't know. The only thing I would say is that I love Candy. I respect Candy. I think they have a great family. They're good people. I just would say, after everything we've been through, the least I deserved was at least a text message, or preferably a phone call. And as well as she has known me, I would have supported whatever decision she felt like was best for her family, for herself, and for Wade. I would have respected it, and I would have stepped back and supported them. But that's really, I guess, it. I just feel like I deserve
that communication. You just wanted to be able to, like, you feel like out of everything you guys have been through and the conversations that you've had in the past, that at least she could have done is just been that, hey, you and I have been there. These people that are talking to you have not been there. At least give me that respect that I would 100% give you. That's a hard thing, and Jesse's really meddling with things that she has no business being in, and I'm hoping that bond can be back to where it was, because that's something that you guys had to work hard at.
Yeah, and I really, if the day comes where I do speak to Candy, I will definitely tell her how I feel, because I always have done that in a respectful way. But I don't know, that really, I don't use that word lightly. If I tell somebody I love them, that means, for me, I'm just saying, for me, I will die for you. If it means to save you and keep you safe, I will die for you. I'm not that person that casually just says, you know what, I love you. And, I can love people. But for me to actually say it sometimes is the next level, because having love for somebody, I've had people shit on me so much in the past that I've guarded myself a little bit from that. But that really hurt me, and of all the things that I know about Jessie and all the things that Jessie's done, that to me is, and I know why she did it, but that to me bothers me the most. And that's why I say fuck Jessie, because she's treading on some very thin water right now. And she's playing a game that she is not built to play. So I hope it all works out at some point.
Well, karma will come back around, like we said. We've seen it, that anybody that has been playing that wrong side, it comes back, and girl, you did the most. So be prepared and buckle up, sister, because you put yourself there. So when it starts coming back, people aren't going to feel bad because you knowingly did these things, and for what cause? Because you barely known him for less than Courtney has known him. So that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, and the other thing,
Yeah, Mel said she's not strong enough for what she's got herself into. That's 100%.
yeah, no, she's not. And she, I said to Melanie the other day, it's not me trying to hate. Listen, that's the game in prison. The game is, especially for people that don't get a lot of outside money from family or friends or whatever. The game is, you talk to this person, dudes, you talk, they talk to anybody. And that's the game. And I'm not trying to hate on that. It just is what it is. That's part of it. But if it was a woman that came into his life and encouraged him, hey, listen, you need to be better. You need to work on yourself, and, encouraged him to be a better version of who he is now, and really just make amends and free his soul from a lot of pain. I would 100% respect that, support that. It's not my, it's his life. I don't have a say in it, but I would definitely encourage that. But you've got somebody who's plotting and planning, scheming, being shady as hell. You're encouraging behavior of conning people. You're encouraging behavior of conniving, manipulating people. And that's not what he needs at this point in his life. He needs somebody like a strong woman or a strong man, whatever he chooses. A strong person that's going to just encourage him to be better. Not encourage, let's file this lawsuit on the sheriff's department. Are you stupid? I mean, really think about it. You're trying to be so slick, and you're just being so stupid. And in the process, you're not doing shit to better the person you claim to love. And that's really a disservice for him, because I hope one day he has that support, from a woman, not just, talk about burying my head in the sand and doing some nasty shit to me. That's not encouraging him to be better. Whatever. I mean, I'm not saying role playing and talking a little shit together is a problem, but when you take it to the next level and it becomes where people literally get creeped out hearing it, that's a problem. So I just don't think she's not the one.
Mel said, sadly, he doesn't have anyone speaking real truth to him. And that's facts. That's exactly what you're saying. Get somebody in there that's actually going to talk sense and say, hey, go educate yourself. Go look up things that the laws. Go read. Do something that's going to actually better yourself. Go write letters instead of writing 13-page letters to random people. Why don't you go spend that time and write it to the people that deserve it, like the victims' families? And even if you're trying to claim innocence or whatever you're saying, at least write down the factual things of hey, I'm truly sorry for what happened to your loved one. Those things are showing growth. He's not doing anything to focus on that, and no one's pushing him in that direction. And you're right, he needs someone that's going to show him the positives, not hey, let's go after these people for defamation. Well, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, and a part of it too, though, is I try to understand, I've said it 1,000 times. Everybody deserves their legal process. Everybody deserves a fair trial. Everybody deserves their appeal. So, in my opinion, I don't anticipate any of that through this process, this appeal process. And I know it's a long process. So I'm not banking on that anytime soon, but through that process, that doesn't mean that he can just continue to do all this type of stuff and never have any self-reflection. It starts now. It starts now with a good woman, anybody who can in good faith interfere with a relationship between people that have had that relationship years before you were even thought of coming around, that shows their character and that shows what's in their heart. And I think because Candy, she's such a good soul, you know, she's such a caring, loving person. She's easily manipulated. And that's why what Wade has gotten away with so much growing up, because, you know, they overcompensated a little bit. You know, this is our adopted son. And, you know, we want to give him everything, do everything, be everything. And I understand the thinking of that. But I'm sure looking back, well, I can't even say I'm sure. I know because I've had those conversations with her. They know where they could have done maybe something a little different. And that's not to throw any blame at all. You're dealing with a different kind of person than the two kids that you raised. This was just a next level situation that they weren't prepared to deal with. And they did the best that they could. They did what they felt was right. But for her to do all the things that she's doing now, which everybody knows what those are. She doesn't think nobody knows, but everybody knows. I just think it shows her character. And she's, in my opinion, she's got to go because she's already laid out the kind of person she is. She will lie. She will manipulate. She will deceive, connive. But then when the heat's a little too much, you know, it's, I'm having thoughts of harming myself. If that brings you to that point, the little bit of heat you've gotten so far, you are definitely not ready for this type of life. So, in my opinion, she's got to go. And he needs somebody who's not just fantasizing about one day, you know, being together or whatever. He just needs a strong woman or man that can encourage him to be a better person. So
a lot of you guys are asking questions about the legalities, and we're when it comes to the funding and all that stuff, that's not our concern. That's whoever donated money is concerned. You know, whatever she's doing with that will come to light eventually. But you know, that's the thing, is she's meddling with a lot of stuff and taking advantage of other people during the process of it. And that's the part we're just giving you a heads up, Jesse. I know you're watching. Just letting you know that you have a choice to make and do something right, and versus all these things. Give these people their money back, because you know damn well that it's not going to be able to get this guy out of prison. It's not going to. Do something positive. Encourage him to do something better. You definitely ain't the one, girl. I know that you think you are, but you ain't. You need to be 10 times stronger than him, and you've already proven that you can't. And you can't manipulate a master manipulator. You ain't even that smart.
No, she's definitely not that smart. And, you know, when I know sometimes I've gone against my family in the past, you know, but when the people closest to you are telling you the same thing, and you choose not to listen, then that's a major problem. But you know, everybody has to learn in their own time, in their own way. And I don't know. I just hope one day she'll own her mistakes, but she might be forced to before long. But it would be nice if she did it on her own and just tried to fix the things she's done. But I don't know. I think she thinks she's smarter than she really is, and that'll destroy you sometimes.
I want to know what her family members have to say, because I couldn't imagine. Like, I know if my kid came to me and said that she was doing the things that, you know, to help out somebody like Wade, it would be a situation where we'd have some serious conversation, you know, and like I wouldn't want to be a part of that either. So, I mean, she's meddling with her own personal relationships over this, and is it really worth all that? You could go about things a different way. You could help somebody in a different way. If, like you said, if she was willing, if she was just trying to get a fair trial or whatever, she could have gone about it in that sort of form and left all the remaining out. Because you people, like you and everybody else that's been close to this situation, has every right to speak facts. You've never once lied. Even when you were talking about this video that just dropped, you didn't like skip a beat. You might have left out a couple things, but everything you said was verbatim of what was said. Like, it was almost like, wow, that's exactly what he said. Like, you remembered a lot more than you thought you did. And I'm sure that was a hard moment to relive that and to re-feel and to like look at yourself from a different perspective, like outside of your body, and watch the situation unfold again and be like, damn, like, did you ever like that when you were watching it though, like wish that you would have said something else, or wish you would have like you, oh, I should have said this, or like, because you're on the spot, you didn't write anything down, it was all Papa Steve knowledge, you know? So I was always wondering that too, because you know how like if I'm yelling at my kid or I'm telling my kid to do the right thing, always after the conversation, when I think back about the conversation, I'm like, damn it, I should have said this, or like, damn it, I should have not said that part, you know, like.
Usually, for me personally, when I get really mad, sometimes, maybe most of the time, I don't think about the things that are coming out of my mouth, other than, you know, trying to get through, you know, say for my kids or something, you know, I'm trying to get them to understand. And, you know, but in that situation, no, because it was more of, for me, it wasn't anger. It was just at that moment, you know, when Melanie and I drove down there, it was really just me thinking about, it really was just seeing Diane's kids, man, truthfully, just watching all that and just knowing, you know, I don't know if you can imagine knowing what happened in this situation and then publicly watching this person's children, you know, begging for their mom to come home. And in your heart, you're like, that's not going to happen, you know? So for me, that was my main objective, was to just talk to him. I didn't know where he was at. Well, you know, before I got there, I didn't know, like, mentally, if it was going to be, you know, anger, if it was going to be whatever. I didn't plan anything. I just played it by ear, and I knew what my intention was and where my heart was for their family. So, you know, I don't think, maybe I could have said something different. I don't know. I just, there was just a few things about that bothered me looking back now that I didn't remember, you know, of him saying, you know, you're not going to leave me, are you, Dad? And, you know, it was almost like he was just like a scorned little boy, you know, and just wanting to know that his dad's not going to leave him, you know. And at that point, you know, he knew that it hurt me bad. And I just think at that point he was like, I know I need to do the right thing. I know I need to make it right. So, you know, for him, it just made me sad in a way, seeing him that vulnerable and really willing to do anything, to know that he's not going to be left alone, you know? So that bothered me a little bit. And, you know, based on the phone calls everybody's heard, I wasn't going anywhere. I was there to try to help him. And then we had that big argument about, you know, doing these interviews and starting to GoFundMe and all, trying to hold court with the media. And that, I knew that wasn't the right answer. So, you know,
well,
after
you got through to him at some point, because he stopped doing those interviews after you called him out on that. I noticed if you haven't seen, he hasn't done anything else since then. It's just been other people talking for him, but it's not, he hasn't said a word to anybody else.
Well, I don't know if, I can't take responsibility for that. I don't think it was that phone call that made him see the
I don't think
light.
it was a phone call, but it did. I think he did kind of realize that it didn't help him.
Yeah. And I'm sure his attorneys probably were like, listen, you have to stop that. That's not, you're making our job even harder. So, I think it was probably that, and the other part is where that video ended, that wasn't even that was probably less than half of the visit. So for whatever reason, I'm just going to give my opinion. My opinion is that was taken out. The rest of the visit was taken out because they probably don't want to make that public record in case they need to use that maybe in the appeal or whatever. I don't know. I don't know why, the visit continued on, and it continued on with a lot of different things about Diane. So that's my guess. My guess is it just maybe they released that part of it publicly. And like I said, there's so much more stuff that never came out in court. And maybe I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know if they keep that, in safekeeping in case they feel like they need to use it or something. I don't know. But that was just
that's
a portion.
what I figured. That's what I would gather out of it. It's the only reason why they wouldn't, because they've released everything else. So I just feel like that was portion of it where they're like, hey, just in case we might need to, edit this part out, right? Like not send the rest of this portion, which makes sense. That would make 100% sense. But that's just speculation. We don't know what the exact reasoning is, but either way, I think we heard what we needed to hear. Exactly what you were stating. It was very eye-opening, and it was a visual because people never got to see. They only got to hear phone calls. They never really got to see those the actual reactions and how he did to me exactly what you said, like a little boy. You brought him back to like the small boy where he just like when you're scalding your kid for doing something and they put their head down and you could tell that they're upset that they hurt you. That's the only feelings that they got, is that like, man, I'm definitely not sorry for what I did, but I'm sorry that I hurt you. I'm sorry that and you could tell though when you mentioned that the boys were looking for their mom and the look on his face, really, like he immediately was just like, okay, all right, Dad, you know what? Send them investigators, or send those people, the detectives. I'll talk to them. And you were like, I might be able to get him now. Like I might be able to. So like you could tell that your words really impacted a lot of what his thought process at that moment. That she had been missing for 3 days, and your conversation is what actually kind of kickstarted that. So that's the whole thing was just so heartfelt. I think it was beautifully laid out for someone to go in. I think I would have been I don't know how it'd be because I don't ever want to put myself in that position, but it's just you have to come out raw, and you don't have time to think, and those feelings come from your heart, and that's what he needed to hear, That I think that whole disappointment, or like when he found that out, he was really upset that he hurt you. And I'm hoping that one of these smart girls like Jessie would actually go and tell the truth of what you're saying about him. You've never once sitting here and saying like he's a piece of shit, he's this and that. No, never. You just say you want him to make amends. You want him to cleanse his soul. You want him to do the right thing. And that's any parent. That's a great parent right there. You're not. So when these people are saying, he bashes his son. No, he doesn't. He's over here stating what he doesn't like what he's done, but there is a chance for him to make amends.
Well, and one thing about it, anything I have personally ever said, I have personally said to Wade. We've had those coward conversations. Imagine you're this bigger than life kind of guy. Everybody looks at him and he's tall, he's handsome. When he's in his right mind, he's funny, he's charming. But, imagine inside of you, you're just petrified. You're petrified of physical confrontation with men. You're petrified of feeling accepted. You're petrified of fitting in. You're petrified of all these things. And outwardly, you look like this just monster of a guy. And those are the battles that he's dealt with, growing up and playing sports. Everybody, oh my God, he's so big, and we need him on the football team. But he didn't have that drive in him for those type of things. And so he always felt like, he was looked at a certain way, but he couldn't outwardly act that way because he just isn't built like that. He's not a big fighter like that. He's not a scrapper, he's just not. That's just not who he is. So it's always been that battle for him. And we have had those conversations where I've said to him, listen, don't worry about that. You are who you are. You don't have to put on a front like you're this big, bad, tough guy. Just be kind, and people will flock to you because you have that good spirit. When you're in your right mind, you're likable as hell. And, we've had many of those conversations. But you take that same person who's got those insecurities and deals with those type of things, and instead of, you see how me communicating with him brings him down to like reality. Like, I don't have to be big and tough with this guy. This guy knows who I am, and he doesn't judge me on that.
But we heard him say that. He immediately said that. He's like, Dad, you know me so well. That part alone, like, hey, guys, this is what he's been telling you the whole time. His dad knows him, and he just acknowledged, Dad, you know me. And after he had said he would have harmed others. And his dad knew that too. And then when he said that, I was like, man, this is what everybody needs to hear right now. Dad, you know me so well.
Yeah.
Like, nobody else could say that. Why did he not call anybody else? Because the simple fact that you know him. You could relate to him. You could talk to him. You could get things out of him. You can, obviously that's the reason why he stated that. Like, it was so eye-opening for me. Like, wow.
Well, when Detective Bell called me the day before that visit, and I could hear it in her voice too, where she was like, listen, we're trying to find this woman, and we're not having any luck. And just for people that don't know, if you go back and watch some of that footage, they had the FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement. They had agencies from all over the place that had come down, and they were searching. They were literally helicoptered. They had a full-on search for this woman. And when she called me and said, do you think he'll talk to you? And I said, yeah, I do think he'll talk to me. And she said, can you get down here tomorrow and visit with him and try to talk to him, because we really need to find this woman. I did have time to think about the situation, and I didn't really think about what I was going to say to him. I just knew that it was a priority, and I knew how hard it was for me to watch her children and her fiance. These kids woke up and lived their life and then never saw their mom again. If you really think about that, I couldn't imagine, if one day my wife just disappeared and nobody knew where the hell she was at, or my child just disappeared. I would lose my fucking mind. But I knew what needed to happen. I felt like he would be honest, because we do have that connection with certain things. And it went the way I hoped it would go. So, at the end of the day, I'm thankful for that at least, I know it's hard I can't imagine, but I'm sure that it was hard for her family, and to have to be told, hey, we found her. It took them a few days to even identify her. And you think about your loved one like that. That's what that's what bothers me, or bothered me too then, more than now. It's just not having those answers, and then just having to, my son's in high school. Could you imagine your kid going through that and then having to finish high school and move on, like to try to live your life and go to college and, build your life for you as a 15-year-old child. I can't even get our 15-year-old to flush the toilet after he goes to the bathroom, or clean his damn room half the time. Imagine that child having to push on and keep on going.
He was so brave too to be able to go up there, like with Wade staring at him, and be able to say what he said and to show his accomplishments while not having a mom, and 2 years prior losing his dad. So this kid literally has nobody but his brother, and he had enough courage to sit there and stare down who took his mom from him and say that. And that alone was like, wow, like what this boy is like strong and brave, because I don't think I could calmly sit there and see someone with no remorse or showing me any of that kind of like there was nothing there. I don't know if it was just because he was medicated or what the situation, but either way, brave is an understatement. And I do want to let you know that Brandon has been talking to me and honestly sends all his love. He thinks you're a hero. He thinks the family as brothers definitely appreciate everything you did, and especially for their mom. And they hear a lot of the things that you say, and they idolize you. They're really like, please thank him for us. One day I want to thank him myself. But he's a hero to us. And I'm like, wow. Like, I'll tell Steve that, because I'm sure he would like to hear that information. Even though he's not looking at it like that. He just wanted the right thing, and he did step outside and think about you kids looking,
Yeah. Well,
heartbreaking situation all the way around. And honestly, everybody loves hearing your voice, and your you make everybody's over here in the chat crying.
Well, if you think about like, and I know sometimes I think some crazy shit, and I know my wife deals with it, because sometimes I'm like, hey babe, check this out, and I go on this whole fucking, like we were watching this movie last night, and I was like, well, I took that like this, and this, and the look she gave me was like, you are out of your fucking mind, because I took this, and this, and we were so far apart on how we were viewing what was happening in the movie. So I know sometimes, I go like real deep with shit, but when I listen to these phone calls, some of these phone calls, what bothers me is that you can sit there and have this nasty ass conversation on the phone, and not even for a second are you even thinking about these poor women, their families? And I don't know what they listen to, but let's say they listen to this shit, and your stupid ass is on there just like it's another day. It's not even like you're talking to somebody and having these conversations with somebody who, was a part of something so tragic to so many people, and it's just like another fucking day for you, and that bothers me. Fuck Jesse. And that's the other thing about Jesse. You're part of this shit, and in your heart, maybe, I don't even know, that you think you're doing what's right. You need to think about the people that will suffer for the rest of their lives because they never got to say something, to their loved one, Imagine that regret. Damn, I wish I could have said I love you one more time. Or I wish I could have stressed to this person how much they mean to me. And
well, we heard about it from Diane's fiance, saying that like that kiss goodbye. Like he's like, I didn't even get to give her a kiss that morning. Like, so he's going to live with that the rest of his life. Like, that's terrible.
And as irrelevant as that seems, like it's just a kiss goodbye. But what if that was like the last kiss goodbye you could give somebody you loved, and you didn't, and it didn't happen, or they don't remember it happening, or whatever. And how do you block that shit out? How do you block that out? I can go talk to them in the cemetery. I could talk to this box of ashes, but it's just not the same. And I don't know. This situation has brought me so many emotions in my life that it bothers me to the point that it's just nonstop. That you go from the details of everything, and then the court shit, and then all this extra shit thrown on top of it, and it's like I have lost so much respect and for like our world and some of the people in it. There's some solid people in this world, but there are some really fucked up people. And I think like my kids, they have to live the rest of their life around some of these people. And it worries me how they're going to deal with the craziness of certain people. It's really sad to me.
Now you listen to only the calls on YouTube, right? You're not listening to the weird calls, right?
The only shit that I've listened to that just absolutely made me sick was that one with the German girl.
You listen to the German girl? No.
Oh my God. I didn't listen to all of it. I listened to it to the point where, I'm going to dig a fucking hole with my foot and I'm going to shove your head in the sand. That to me was like, I'm out. This is just next level. This isn't like a couple doing a little dirty talk with each other. This was just like, this is like, I'm going to relive some of the fucking crazy thoughts in my head. And what bothered me about it, it didn't shock me on his end. It shocked me like as a woman. What the fuck have you been through in your life that you're okay with that? Like, where you're going to just continue what you're doing and roll with it and go to bed, wake up, and have another day. I don't know. It sickens me. It really does make me really sick thinking about it.
Well, that girl actually put herself out there on Reddit. She actually claimed herself being part of those calls. Like, why? Girl, you of all people should have remained silent because look. But after that, I bet you never listened to any of those Patreon calls.
No, I've never been on Patreon. That was it. That was the only one. And then I learned a lesson. If they're too bad where they can't be put out on the shit I normally watch, then I don't need to watch it or listen to it because it must be next level shit. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
That one was really, really bad. That one was like the worst of the ones that I heard. And then I'm like, how does Jesse say like she does not listen to his calls because it's invading his privacy? Yet you're super obsessive. So like, girl, you probably should listen to that call if you haven't. And I'm doubtful that she hasn't. But honestly, you could say people are trying to you don't know what they're going to be through if they're locked up or, whatever. But this is beyond that. If it was just of a sexual type of situation, okay, that'd be understanding. But this one was disgustingly morbid. And that is where it's like, okay, do you really realize the person that you're talking to? Because that is different. That's a different kind of fantasy land. And there was full details there. And that was really disturbing. And who the hell? Like, you should automatically saw that red flag of this dude needs help. He needs help, that serious help.
Well, if you really think about it, if you go back to, I don't remember one, like any phone call, I don't remember ever hearing, listen, you need to like calm down and really, why don't can I send you some books, something that maybe would enrich your soul, why don't you I haven't heard any positive advice from anybody that I can remember. Just something encouraging. You say, I love you, talk to you later, love you. Okay, that's great. But if that was true, what's your purpose for being in this situation? Is it just for your own self gratification? Because I don't hear any part of anybody trying to encourage him to be a better person, to do good, make good choices. It's all just like, whatever. Yeah, I'll go fucking get a tattoo on your body. I don't even know who the fuck you are, but let me go tattoo your fucking name on my body. It's the sickness part of it. Like, that's why I know there's no true love there. There's no, I want you to be a better person. It's just, you've got your own fucking issues, and you're just linked up with somebody who might make you feel good about yourself for a few minutes and then hang up with you and do it again to somebody else, and then do it again to somebody else, and do it again to somebody. I mean, I don't understand. It baffles me, honestly.
Well, I have a person that's been talking to me on the side for some time now. She'll be coming to light eventually, but she was telling me that he wouldn't even continue a conversation with her if she didn't get a tattoo of his name, and it had to be in a visible area to where someone could see it. So he was very adamant about that and didn't even want to talk to her until she had the tattoo, which was crazy.
Yeah. And what do you think that's about, Coral?
I think it's just more of himself, of getting, like, he's loving the attention that he's getting from it. That's what I feel from a narcissistic standpoint of, he loves the attention, and he loves that people are being there and kind of idolizing him, like, kind of like, hey, they're making him to feel like he's a god. They're putting him on a pedestal. And so he thinks that he's got this like complex in his brain that, okay, I'm getting these women to do these things, and they're advertising it. So people are seeing my name, my face, my tattoos everywhere that they go. So that's what I feel is just, he just likes that he's eating that inside of, like, I'm getting these girls to put my name out there. And so now it's putting it's a conversation piece, right? You walk around with a tattoo and you see that, they're automatic. If I see a name, I automatically assume it's their husband, their wife, their child, so I automatically am like, oh, is that your kid? Like, honestly, oh, no. Then you kind of fill in a backstory of why you got this tattoo. Usually tattoos are conversational pieces. So, yeah. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I feel like as more of claiming ownership, and they're like, if you're really mine, you're going to mark your body. A lot of people do that. I've been with my guy for 15 years and we don't have names on each other. So it's just something that we've already discussed like that. I'll get a tattoo that symbolizes you, but I'm not putting your name on my body ever. Like, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, it goes back to those insecurities about himself. One thing he's not insecure about, he knows he's a good looking guy. He's never had an issue. That's never been a problem. And because of that he feels he has control. He doesn't have control. The cattle.
That's a good analogy. Branding the cattle.
He doesn't have control of a lot of things in life, but he knows that he has control based on how he looks. And it's a power thing. It's a power thing to know that I made you go tattoo my name on your body. Not because I love you, not because I'm proud of you, like you're mine. It's just that control. It's that control over women. And it's, and he gets off on it a little bit, and this is not me fuck you, Jesse. This isn't me talking shit, about him. This is just pointing out things that we've already had conversations about that have to change. That way of thinking has to change for him to be a better him. And if all these things can't change and don't change, then nothing will ever change. So that's what's important to me. The short term, playing with yourself and all that shit, that's not important short term. Long term, it's important that he can accept who he is. He can just be honest, open, trustworthy to people around him, and they will do the same. And my hope is that he becomes a better person. You know, you can be a better person in prison if you choose to. It's hard with all the negativity, but you can better yourself. You know, they're not going to offer that to you, but you can fight for that in your own life. He just has to be encouraged to do it.
And that's also okay. The encouraging could help, but there's also, I want to put out there that there are some people, and there's that percentage of people that just they're too damaged. They've already been through, like, they're never. It's just not there anymore, right? It could be a mixture of a bunch of things. Mental narcotic usage would damage your brain on a constant basis, anyways. But I feel the mentality and everything else. There are those people that you just cannot save. They're just gone. They're lost. The person that you knew is no longer there. And that could be a possibility too. We don't know how much, until he actually has the chance to actually not have all these calls, all these contacts, all these people reaching out, and it actually gets quiet for him. Then he can actually now have time to actually think. And that's what I think. Until then, he's not going to be doing any sort of healing. He needs to have that time to actually have it, like, sit in his brain.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But, you know, nobody can make him do it. It just has to be, it has to be encouraged to him. And obviously he's not going to call me right now. So, and I understand that. But, you know, if anybody's learned anything from this, things that are done in the light and the dark will always come to the light. And that goes the same in prison. I was telling Melanie, there's a way, you know, listen, there's always a way, and the truth will always come out. You're dealing with officers that they know what you're there for. They're not stupid, especially on death row. They know. They've studied your case, because that's part of their job on death row, is to know everything about you. And they're just some good old boys. They're not people that think they're so slick. They're gonna break you with that, and they're gonna expose a lot of shit about you. So, you know, nothing will stay hidden. So people should remember that when they get on the phone.
I'm hoping that, though, that just one day out the blue, you get a random call, and he actually wants to have that conversation, at least try to, because I feel like, honestly, Steve, the only person that really could actually talk some sense is never going to be any of these girls in a kiosk. Let's be real. Nobody with real logic is actually going to go to him and speak logic. Okay. They're not going to fall in love with him, and he's just not going to find that type of person. But I feel like you're the best bet that he has to actually speak some sense that he'll listen to, because he actually does have that respect for you, as much as people don't want to believe it. We saw on that how he carried himself. He knew that you did what you did to, you know, and got him and picked up, and he still was not, that anger was not there. I know that you could talk some sense into him and at least be able to get him in a positive direction. He just has to do that on his own, and hopefully that's sooner rather than later, because I feel like he's just getting further lost down with all these people feeding his ego, you know?
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. Fuck you, Jesse.
Yeah, fuck you, Jesse.
That's true, but it's people like her. I mean, I hate to say it. She's super insecure already from whatever caused her in her past. Obviously, something happened for her to be the way she is. And, you know, there's just no positivity. It's just, no, let's go after this. Let's do this. Or yeah, get that money. You know, it just, there's no depth. It's all just surface. It's all just surface shit. And I told Melanie that last phone call, I said, oh, I hear it in his voice. I'm telling you, he's over her shit. 100%, like all that, you know, I have your login or whatever the hell she said. His voice was 100% like, if you didn't have control over this money right now, I would tell you to pack sand. And if she didn't pick up on that, she's stupider than I thought. Fuck you, Jesse.
Yeah,
but,
Jesse.
You know,
We all
she
knew that
just
one. I was like, ooh, this tone is different. He is not liking what
no.
she's doing at all. Like she's like,
I
he's like,
just
oh, you're gonna hold this above me? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna always hold it above you, and I hope you try to come for me because I will ruin your life. I promise you. Um, you will be balled up crying because fuck you, Jesse, because
Yeah,
you're a
fuck you,
piece of
Jesse.
shit person and you're
We
just
gotta add
not
that to your
good.
shirt.
You
One more
know.
thing. We're gonna put it on the front. One more thing. Fuck you, Jesse.
100%. But I don't know. You know, I don't wish no bad on her. I just
Don't worry,
wish she.
Papa Steve. She's gonna reach out to you in a few months from now to give you that long apology about why she did what she did, and for you to forgive her. Add it to the list.
Yeah, well, I hope for her that happens. I already know what's going to happen. I know the end result of this.
We all do.
Yeah, 100%. But you know, if she can kind of pull her shit together, and she's got some stuff she's got to deal with on her own, obviously. And I hope she can find somebody one day that can give her what she needs as a spouse. But she's on the verge of really ruining her life right now. So
True. Oh, Mama Mel said they don't really apologize. They just want to be coddled by you.
yeah, yeah, and that may be true too. But like I've told Melanie, you know, it does bring me some joy to at least know maybe whatever's happened to these people in this situation that they can look back and use it as a lesson and not make that mistake again. You know, everything that happens to us in life, we can either be angry about it, pissed off about it, dwell on it, or you can take those little positive pieces and use them in the future. You know, hey, I remember back in 2024 when my stupid ass was doing this conniving ass fundraiser and lying to people. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to make better choices. And those are life lessons. So I think a lot of people have learned some valuable lessons throughout this whole situation, you know?
I agree. And listen, everybody in the chat, we do see you. Everybody loves hearing Steve talk. I've been trying to encourage him to create his own YouTube platform because he could talk about the weather and we're going to want to hear it. I agree with you guys fully. The man speaks. I'd vote for him for president. I already told you guys that. And he is definitely very sensible. He's got his wits about him. And we all love your voice, Steve. So if you don't see the positive encouragement, what people would definitely listen to you, regardless of whatever you want to talk about. You could just talk about nothing. And I'm sure everybody, he's a motivational speaker, very calming. I'd listen to him all day. These are the comments. So if that doesn't encourage you to have you and Mel could get up there. You can do the weather if you want. I don't care. Just give us something so that way we don't have to wait to hear your. I mean, I can call you, but like all these other people, they want your motivational words.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. It's really not like that, but I listen. I'm
Yeah,
a
but you
fucked
just
up
don't even talk
person.
about you. Aside from Wade, you have a lot of life experiences too, and that's what made you who you are. Your words of wisdom you weren't just born with them. You went through hell yourself, and you were built by the things that you've been through, and it clicked in your brain and then taught you to be a better person. That's how you and Mel are doing well together, is from everything you've been through before. And so that is what people need to understand, is that you don't just become strong. You grow there because of all the shit you've been through in your life. It makes you into that person. And Steve, it's turned you into one hell of a guy. So I think the world needs to know different things about you that doesn't even involve this, to show how you became who you became. Like, it's a powerful thing because people don't realize that trauma really does have either it knocks you on your ass, you spend the rest of your life in jail, or end up on addicted, or end up not alive anymore, or you rise above it and you become a strength and a guidance and you use your words of wisdom and it actually helps people. So I feel like there's a greater gift for you because everybody loves hearing you speak, and you actually don't realize the power that you have in your words because you're very, like, from everything you've been through, you're very smart, and you're Like, I feel every time we talk that I get off and I feel like that was a good therapy session today and I didn't have to pay anything.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. But honestly, it's really, I've been through a lot of shit, man. I've been through a lot of pain in my life. I've put people through a lot of pain. I've put people that I love and that love me, I put them through a lot of shit. And I am thankful that I'm still alive and I'm still able to try to be here for my kids, and I'm still here for my wife. And I fall short. Trust me. I snapped on the guy at McDonald's the other day because he skipped the drive-through line, and you make your order and you know who's next. Well, this piece of shit just went right in front of me, and my son was in the truck with me, and I didn't snap or anything, but I handled it in a way where, I wish this person the best, have a great day, but you're a piece of shit. And you know how this shit works. You give and take a little in the drive-through line, but you're a piece of shit for skipping me. And then, I look over and my kid's looking at me like, damn, Dad. I mean, it's just a drive-through. And then I have to check myself a little bit like, okay, that was kind of shitty. But usually that's because there's something underlying bothering me that I need to talk about, but sometimes I don't talk about and try to hold on to it. But I'm getting better with that, where I am trying to talk a little bit more and get shit out, because holding on to it for me doesn't really work in the long term,
Yeah, well, that's the thing is you've been through, even Mel just said, you've been through a lot lately. It's just a lot, and you're not giving yourself that grace, and you're in your brain thinking about other people when really there's a lot that's affecting you, and you have to realize that and get through it yourself, because if you don't, you're harboring all those feelings, and then there you go. I mean, McDonald's sucks in general. I don't think, even if you're the best person in the world, there's no way you can possibly go through that drive-through and not get mad at some point. Because I swear it's just like every dumbass works there.
Yeah. No,
Jesse, your future awaits.
Fuck you, Jesse. I don't know. I don't know. This whole situation has really, it's changed me as a person. It's made me more sympathetic to a lot of situations, to a lot of people, because I have been on the other side of it where, I've been that asshole. So I've really gained a lot more empathy and compassion to even stupid thinking people. I still feel like, everybody deserves. And the other thing I think about, I'll give an example. Our realtor, when we bought this house, super nice lady, she was very helpful, and we kind of clicked together, me and Melanie and her. It was, and they still are friendly to this day. But when all this shit happened, I remember my wife telling me that the realtor called her, and she was like, holy shit, I just saw Steve online. And we went through this whole buying process, and it was a pain in the ass. It was a real struggle. And she's like, I never would have even imagined that at the time that you guys were trying to buy this house, that all this other shit was going on, And she was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know, you guys never put off that vibe. There was this life-changing, horrible situation happening in your life, and then she sees it, after the fact. And that really made me think, because, you deal with people every day, and you deal with assholes every day. And usually in the past, I would be the person to say, you're a fucking dick. Why are you acting like that? I mean, it's unnecessary. But now I try to think, I don't know what the fuck is going on in their life. I don't know what they're going through. They may have just lost a child to an overdose, or they may have lost a child to something violent. or they may have, anything could have happened in their personal life. Why am I going to make it worse by reacting to their smugness? And now most of the time I say, hey, I hope your day gets better. Just try to say something positive that maybe they're not getting outside of work.
Yeah, I actually learned that the other day because there was this lady at my job, and I freaking always think that she's just a rude asshole. But I've never actually taken time to get to know her because I just keep my when I'm at work, it's just strictly work, and I don't really have friends there because I don't want anybody messing with my money. So I just have kept myself quiet. But then I found out the other day that this woman, her son, actually put the kids at risk, and so she ended up having to. The son is in jail. And she's always praised her son, and because he's a good person, he just made a terrible decision, and now she's raising the grandchildren, and so she can't have contact with the son, or else she can't have she can't have the grandchildren. It's not even letting the mom talk to the son. She has to disassociate with him in order to be able to have the children, and this woman's battling this on a daily basis. And she's in her 60s, so it's not easy when they're two small children, and she's doing all this. And has to her one son, her pride and joy, and I'm over here wow, she has every right to be a bitch. No wonder why she's a bitch. I would be a fucking asshole too. I just wanted to hug her and be I'm sorry. I really was in my brain wow, she just was a bitter old woman, not realizing that at home she's battling this on a daily basis, and she just didn't. She was too embarrassed to even put it out there. But it got to a point where she actually just unleashed on all of us in one day, and we were whoa, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah, you never know. You never know what somebody else is going through and what they've been through.
Steve, someone violated you. Steve's live content is flagged for harassment and bullying. Repeated violations could result in them being removed from this live. I'm gonna keep it up.
There it is.
Jesse's here. Hi, Jesse. Hi.
Well, I better say this real quick. Fuck you, Jesse. Fuck you, Jesse. Fuck you, Jesse. Just in case.
Just in case all of it's out there in the world. Yeah. I'll make sure we post it so that way that could get flagged too, because honestly she needs to hear those words. Why do people report the truth, y'all? Y'all afraid of the truth? You guys don't like the truth? Because it's all factual information, honestly. That's what bothers me is people are real quick to report things that are not factual. Or all the things that are factual, they want it blocked. They want it removed from public see. Every time that one of my people's where I post something that's factual, shut down real quick. Terrible. I can't. These words need to be said, and she needs to hear it. And yes, you might not like it, but tough cookies. That's reality. That's sometimes someone's got to be honest with you, and clearly people aren't. They're feeding your head, and you need to hear, fuck you, Jesse. Let me hear the shit.
I don't know. It's all good. It doesn't matter. I can take it or leave it.
Oh yeah, you and I both are already about. That's why I have a backup page and another backup page. I know that comes with the territory, but it's not going to stop us from being truthful and good people. So I don't care if that hurts people, whatever. That's why we block them all as they come in. They create another accounts, we block them all again. It's just a never-ending cycle here. But that's why I want to move over to YouTube, because then we could literally just say whatever the hell we want, and they can't do shit about it.
Yeah. Well. It is what it is. You know the old saying, they say the truth hurts. And I know that for sure because I've been told some truths about myself that I don't like to hear, but I know that they're pretty accurate. So you either have to face them and fix them or report people for saying the truth and boo-hoo behind your screen or whatever you're doing. So
I don't report any pages. The ones that I do report are the ones that bash you guys because they're spreading misinformation. The ones that are against Diane or Christine, I'm 100% gonna do anything that's negative or speaking badly about them. And the rest of it, if I don't like it, I see dumb fucking shit all the time, like that horse video. All right, I'm gonna laugh at how dumbass you are, but I'm gonna scroll past it because it's not worth my time to even comment. It's guys, there's no point in any of that. If you don't like it, just move along. You don't have to sit there. Is it affecting your life? No, but it's personally affecting his. So let's be real.
But you know what's funny? Just take your past or whatever you've been through, whatever trauma you've been through in your past. Those are the things in your future, when you see somebody else going through something similar, or you hear somebody else's story about they've been through the same shit, you automatically have that compassion for that person because you've been in their shoes before. I think a lot of people, I mean, can you imagine if someone close to you was taken away from you just randomly? You know, you would never put yourself in a position to disrespect like victims or their families or just the situation because you've experienced that in your life. So I think a lot of these people, they haven't been through those kind of traumas. So to them, it's foreign, you know, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong. And they keep doing what they're doing. But you are doing something wrong because through your actions, you're disrespecting the people that every day have to live through it. And that's why you get kind of the I don't know what the right word is, maybe the aggression or the frustration from people who are living it or been through it, because it's frustrating because, you know, their minds never turn off. You can go do all these fun little cutesy things around a situation, but when you have you've been affected firsthand by it, you have empathy for other people. So I hope people never have to go through this type of situation with a loved one, but maybe it takes something like that for you to go through before you can open your eyes and realize what you're doing is wrong. You know, you're contributing to the downfall of somebody's life in general, I think.
It's true. That's why every single one of the moderators that I have all have had some traumatic situations, and that's why they are sitting here rallying for you guys on a constant basis and stuff. And everybody gets, oh, you're sending your cockroaches to do like, no, they have their own traumas and they see what you're doing is wrong and they're speaking on it. That has nothing to do. Like some of their stories, Crystal, one of my mods, like she lost her sister and it was a domestic and the guy literally beat the crap out of her until she lost her life, and she was finally got enough courage to speak her story on her platform, and so she knows what it's like to lose somebody and all the drama that comes behind it. So we all come from some sort of traumatic situations in our lives, and those people are those are the people that I want in my corner because they know, they've been there, they've been through some sort of trauma, and I can't understand. I mean, there's still people I've met that haven't been through any trauma and are good people, but I just can't relate because they complain over things that okay, that's what you got to complain about. There's much things worse in life here, and I can't relate to them. So it's not that they're bad people. It's just I just find myself more bonded by people who have been through a rough life or been through a lot of things because they have better understanding of who I am or who like my peoples are. You know, I feel like that is something. I'm thankful if you haven't been through traumatic. I mean, good for you. I wouldn't wish trauma on anybody, but it does build you, and you have the right to. You have to make the decision whether to go positive with it or let it take you down another road. And a lot of my peoples, like all the moderators, they've chose to build and become powerful from it, using their voices to help others. And that's what I say. Every one of us can do that. Every one of us can be that power and be that voice for someone who can't speak right now, you know?
Yeah, and I want to thank all those people too, because I know they're badasses behind the scenes, you know? I know what time it is. And
you already know. I know Mel fills you in a lot, so you already know. They in these streets. You get everybody. I love it when people send you info and you're like, I had that 4 days ago. Mel gave that to me.
Yeah. Some of the shit, I'm like, honestly, when she'll tell me, I'm like, are you being serious right now? And she goes, oh, yeah, that shit was 2 days ago. Done deal. And I'm just like, damn, I don't want to piss any of these people off. I don't want no problems.
Nope, that's what I said. I'm like, people underestimate the kind of peoples that we got in this circle over here. Don't piss us off because it's bad. But if you honestly, that's the thing is people love and respect you guys so much. Just for the genuine people you are, owning your own shit, and then building and being better. You never said by all means at any point did you say you're a perfect person. You've done a lot in your lifetime and to become the person that you are. And you speak about your past and you talk about things here and there. And I'm sure once you tell more of your, your history and stuff, it will make a lot more sense for people to understand how you became who you are today. That's something that's built. It doesn't just, I've never met one good person that became that way with not experiencing severe trauma in their lifetime or going through all sorts of negative battles in their life too. So it's really, I feel like you undercut yourself a lot. You and Mel honestly really should be proud of who you are today, because y'all known each other since you were 13 and have built such a beautiful family and been through a lot of crazy shit that I hope nobody else has to go through as a couple. And look at you guys, it's not, by all means, not perfect, and we all go through shit, but anybody in a long-term relationship knows that. But like together, you guys are a freaking force, and that's why we rally for you guys, because like don't ever say a damn freaking bad word about either of those two. We'll come right for your jugular. Oh, they booted him. He's in trouble, guys. That's terrible. Oh, Papa Steve, no. What did they say? Mel, tell me what they said to his thing when you find out. What does it say once his, like, go back live again date? People reported him. Baby's in the corner again. Damn it, Jesse. Why, Jesse? That's bullshit, man. Now, guys, be prepared when you see me, because listen, today, after what just happened, I don't like my guests rudely getting kicked out of my room until Steve asked me to kick him out, and he gets booted without my permission. Now I'm going to show up in the red bathrobe. I hope y'all are happy. Hope y'all are happy now. Shit. TikTok, man. They can shut me off on this platform. I got a backup that's in my bio. So if you guys look in the bio, there is that backup. And I also have Coral 2301. That one's a well-established platform as well. So they can silence me, but I'm going to come right back. I'm going to come back like the cockroach that I am, okay? Like drop bombs and the cockroach is still going to be there. We live longer than the dinosaurs, all right? We'll be there. We'll be there creeping around, coming out the cut. Can't get rid of me. You can't silence the truth. You guys, what pisses me off is that they allow the lies to be out there, but they don't allow the truths. Why? 9:30? Oh, Monday. Okay, that's not bad. 9:30 is not bad. On his birthday? They're like, guess what? Happy birthday. You get to come back again. You out of the corner. Yep, tomorrow's Papa Steve's birthday, guys. We're going to rally for him tomorrow, so I'm definitely going to be doing that.